Hi, Dan. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. Dan is the owner of Level Up Fitness. It is a gym located in Etobicoke, providing personal training and specialized fitness programs to individuals with developmental disabilities. So our overall theme for today is to talk about the importance of physical activity, but also kind of to touch on and acknowledge that becoming physically active can be really challenging to initiate across all different abilities. So we're really excited for you to share some of the strategies that you may have with us today. But before we get started into that, I would just love to know how or what was the inspiration that you had behind opening Level Up?
Sure. So I had worked in behavioral sciences for about 10 years. And for several years, I had also been doing personal training, just sort of as a side job before and after work. And I'd always thought that it would be nice to sort of like combine those and reconcile them, because so many of the clients I supported residentially were just sort of sitting around getting zero activity, and we'd look into existing options for them. And it was just like so obviously lacking that I just thought it was worth taking a shot. So basically just quit my job and rented a warehouse and started a gym. So that was actually 5 years ago this month. So
oh wow,
we're in our second space. We just moved last year.
Okay,
we have, I don't know.
That's amazing. So you kind of touched on your clientele. Could you kind of tell us a little bit more of who your clientele are?
Sure. So we do a lot of work with people on the spectrum. We do a lot of work with people with Down syndrome or acquired brain injuries, or just like non-specified like global disabilities. Also physical handicaps. Yes, we have clients in wheelchairs and mobility issues. Basically, like everyone who would have a hard time working out at a regular gym has sort of been left out. We can find ways to get them moving and get them active. So prior to March, we would probably see on a given week like 60 individuals with some sort of disability or exceptionality in either a one-on-one, one-on-two, or like a small group format. So we used to run larger groups, with up to like 10 people. So a lot of like day programs, things like that. We don't do those anymore. So we just do, we still do a couple small groups, like 1 or 2 people at a time.
Okay.
But it's obviously a little more challenging now. So.
Yes, of course. And you also provide personal training to typically developing people as well?
Yeah, so
we operate
we operate as a typical gym. So we run same sort of services. We do personal training, and we do small group, sort of semi-private personal training. Yeah, but like it's difficult to say now because everything has changed so much.
I know, yeah, it has made it very challenging.
We used to probably do about half of our business, or half of our time was with people with exceptionalities. So it was a lot of work.
Okay.
We built up a lot of good relationships. So hopefully we can continue those.
Yeah, definitely. So speaking about building on relationships, how would you build rapport with a new client who may have some type of disability who is coming into your gym for the first time?
Yeah, so the first question is what is the goal for this person? Okay, so, and there's going to be, every person's going to have a different answer. So that's going to determine what we're going to do with them and how we're going to build rapport. And, everyone is individual, so they're all going to be completely different. Some people might be eager just to get away and to start working out, and other people, it might require, a lot of prompting and building in some motivation, and more classical like ABA techniques. So, step one is to identify the goal, right? So we have any number of reasons why people might want to come here. So it's nice when the individual knows and they can articulate it well. Like, so a lot of our clients, they want to lose weight. They're aware that they need to lose weight. They're aware that they need to get stronger. And then others who, who it's like recommended for them, it could be, they know that there's like a health concern, that physical activity will help. Or it's just that this person is just not getting any activity and it's manifesting itself in these maladaptive ways in the home or in the community. And that physical outlet, like that stuff needs to come out, right?
Definitely.
It comes out here in a productive way than, smashing something at home or hitting somebody.
Exactly. It is a really big integral piece of kind of like a holistic care model as well, to make sure that, there is an outlet for individuals to be active and to get moving.
Yeah.
So I really appreciate that. From a behavior analytic mindset, what would some of those strategies be for someone who maybe to build rapport that maybe is nonverbal, does not fully understand why they may be coming there?
Yeah. So the first thing we'll try to do, so we want to establish this place as like a kind of a fun place. Okay. It should not be like when they see the logo, they're like, oh no, and they don't want to come in. So we want to make this place as fun as possible. So the first thing we try to do is find some kind of activity that they are sort of already good at, or they can already do, that they enjoy. Okay, so typically when people first come in, I'll try to put them through this battery of different activities, and we'll see how they do with different levels of prompting to sort of figure out where we would need to start with any sort of programming. But for someone who's let's say like quite challenged and doesn't take instruction too well and might not understand what we're saying to them, they come into, imagine them walking into a typical gym or a fitness center. It's overwhelming, right? Like it's like the weirdest environment on earth. Like there's music playing, there's all these people in these crazy outfits, and there's all these weird machines, and you have no idea what you're supposed to do. Like it's not an ideal learning environment, I would say, for anyone, but especially someone who has like a communication and social functioning impairment. So often what we'll do is we'll try to find these really clear-cut, like unambiguous activities, right? So I'll show you an example of something we might do. 1 second.
Great, thank you.
Okay. All right, so that's a tire. Could be anything. Could be a circle. Could be a box. Any sort of like clear like delineation, of an area where we want something to go in. And basically, all we want this person to do is take a ball or any other object. This is 10 pounds. We'd be able to figure out what the right amount is, and have them just walk over and put it into this tire. That's it. And that might be the entire first session. Getting that person to do that, okay, to understand the objective is to take this and put it in there, okay? And even if that's all we can do, that's enough, because then we can start to build on this, okay? Because then we can start to take more things, more challenging objects, heavier things, do it multiple times. We can make the distance further. We can increase the amount of reps. We can start putting things in between, right? We can have them step over things. We can start to shape this up into like a lot of physical activity, just from something as simple as taking an object and putting it in another object, right? And it's so clear cut, right? It's so that often we don't even need to say anything, right? So we can shape it up, or we can provide cues. So we'll model it, or we'll have maybe a support worker model it, and then hand them the ball, right? Or maybe we'll put markers on the floor. It's kind of hard to see, but there's some colored markers on the floor to show people.
Yes.
So we provide a lot of like external cues on the ground there, environmental cues. Right. So that's just one example of how we would build up for someone who doesn't have like this big repertoire, and they can still get a pretty good workout versus us being just explaining what to do. Like, you're going to lift this weight 10 times. It's just random.
Absolutely.
It has no meaning, and a lot of people might not understand what the expectation is. So for some of the people that train here, we will add in like a token reinforcement system. But we don't do that with a lot of our clients. We can usually just find activities that they enjoy. So for some people, it's like playing music. So we listen to a lot of bizarre music, whatever they want to hear, sure. Like whatever makes it easier, that's what we'll do. So we try to use as little of that as possible, try to keep this like a separate fun place that they go to. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic. And so as you're building up, their rapport and experience in some of these movements, how would you assist them in maintaining motivation throughout a workout, whether it be at the beginning stage or maybe they're a little bit more advanced, they know the routine now?
Yeah. So again, it's the depends on their goal, right? So right after this interview, I have a client coming in and he's a anoxic brain injury, but he just likes getting stronger. So his goal is just to get stronger. So he has some challenges, but for someone like him, it's quite simple. We just show him how he's getting stronger, and he really enjoys it. Um, and for other people, it could be embedding breaks in, right? So we'll often use a visual schedule with people. But we do this with everybody, uh, you know, neurotypical or not, right? So we have their workouts are organized in this application that we use, but for a lot of our other clients, we'll write it on the board and they'll go through it so they can see. It's nice to know. So we'll often embed like a break. So we'll put a break in there. They can take a break. Sometimes we have we have like swings and hammocks that we'll put up sometimes. We'll take a break and then go swing. And then for other people who might need it, we can put in whatever like reinforcement they're finding motivating at the moment, right? So it could be, and we can play around with the ratio. And sometimes we'll use like an interval ratio. So like whatever they're doing, the timer goes off, we'll stop, and they'll go whatever it is that they're feeling that day, right? So again, it just depends on the person's functioning, but there's lots of options. It's like the way you would teach any skill, right? Like teach someone how to fold a shirt, right? It's really no different. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, you've kind of touched on this already in terms of some of the common challenges that people come to you with when they're kind of starting to seek out personal training with you. What are your like recommendations that you would give these people who maybe are at home and don't have access to a gym right now or equipment?
Yeah. So, okay. So where to start? I think one of the like nicer things about kind of like technology now is there's a lot of like wearable technology, and even if you have someone who doesn't willingly want to participate in their own activity uh, program, but like they have a support team that's looking out for their health, and they don't know how to gauge whether or not it's effective or working. But something as simple as like wearing a pedometer can be an objective way to measure their progress or how well your plan is working, right? So it could just be like you have a goal for the first, like you could have a person wear it and do nothing different, and then you have a baseline of how many steps that person's taking on an average day in a week, and then the next week your goal is just to increase that by X, right? And then again and again and again, and it's they don't even need to know that they're in this exercise program
Actively working on it. Yeah.
obviously that they should, and we want as much buy-in as possible, but we're looking out for their health and safety, and that's just one simple objective way to do this, right? So it's not just like, oh, we tried to have this person be more active, because what does that mean, right? There's no way to measure.
Absolutely.
So if you can attach a number to it, it makes it a lot more clear, and it's like there's just unambiguous, right? They took this many more steps this week on average, way to go. And if you can correlate that to weight loss or other health markers, great, right? So I think that's like the simplest way for most people. Walking is great activity. Everybody should be walking. And then even stuff like we just did here, if you have a staircase in the house, you can set this activity up. Even if it's just like once a day, take this to this, right? And then same thing, you shape it up from there, and you can make it part of someone's like independent activity schedule, or anything like that. Like I think carrying things is like one of the best activities, right? And it can be in any form. Just like carrying a heavy thing is an amazing activity for the human body, and everybody should be doing it. So, it doesn't, whether it's like a medicine ball or a heavy dumbbell or a heavy kettlebell or like basket of laundry, like whatever. Carrying heavy things is very good for you, and everybody should be doing it. So setting up activities like that in the house is really useful. I would recommend, like if you can, hard to find exercise equipment right now, but find a ball like this, or even just like a small ball like this, and you can start to play catch or use it as a weight. And if you had something you could step up onto, like a small bench or a box, you can combine a lot of different activities, right? So we do a lot of throwing and catching with people. I think it's like a nice sort of social reciprocal activity. So when we have people working in these small groups, we'll always try to have this sort of back and forth turn taking activities, which is good physical activity, but it's also good just for like social skills. Catching is fun. So,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So like, you don't need a ton. I would say you can get a ball and like a box or like a step up like this. This is just a wooden box upside down. It works as a box. You can put things in it, step on it. So you don't need a ton. And then, it's up to sort of embedding it into someone's schedule, the way you would put any other activity, right?
Definitely. Yeah. So just kind of getting creative, finding ways to sneak physical activity into your daily routine. And I'm sure there is a lot of different items around the home that could be easily turned into a piece of fitness equipment.
Absolutely.
So tell us how you have been operating during the pandemic. I know it's a hot topic for everybody. And it is, pose a lot of challenges for the fitness community.
It's not a good industry to be in at the moment.
Yeah.
So in March we had to shut down, and we were shut down until August. So I had just moved into this location, which was great.
Okay.
And then we couldn't use it for 6 months.
Oh no.
So we did. We did a lot of work over Zoom with a lot of our existing clients, but obviously a lot of our clients with communication impairments, it just wasn't an option. Although we still did a lot of it, but it was just a lot of people were left out. And since we've opened back up, people are really happy to be back in here. Like, I feel like it's very safe. Typically, anytime there's people in here, we have all the doors open. I have like medical grade air cleaners here. It's a gigantic space, right? We're able to maintain distance, and even when we are exercising, we are wearing masks and shields. So like, I feel like it's quite a safe activity. But a lot of the agencies, for safety reasons, haven't wanted to bring their individuals back here. So we still see a lot of people with exceptionalities in here, but not as many as we used to, and obviously not as many groups.
Right.
So
do you still maintain, any virtual training while you're operating the gym with in-person coaching?
Yeah. So we still have a couple groups, a couple day programs that we do virtual training with. And then last month we were shut down again for a month. So we were doing a lot of that. So, and then I lost my train of thought, but yeah, we still, even when we're physically open, we are still doing some virtual work. It's just not an option for a lot of people. But for those who it is, we do it. Yeah.
That's fantastic. I mean, definitely being able to take advantage wherever you can for the ones that are motivated to come in person. So my last question for you, from a caregiver's perspective, what are some at-home go-to movements, workouts that you could recommend to perhaps someone in a caretaker role that's looking to become a little bit more physically active?
Sure. Let me show you. This is the other thing I recommend for most people. It's a band like this. They come in all shapes and sizes. Something like this is very versatile. So we do this with everyone. And it's very helpful for correcting people's posture, strengthening their upper back. So all you want to do is you want to grab a band. I mean, any band will do. Stand up tall, pull your shoulders back. Put the band up horizontal to the ground and pull it apart. Okay? Try and squeeze all this together. Just like that. Want to make it harder, move your hands in. Same thing. You do it about 10 times. Flip your hands up. Same thing. Okay. I'm going to take the band, go all the way around like that. Okay. The whole thing will take 30, 40 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Do it several times a day. And then people will be like, Rebecca, did you get taller? You look, because you'll be, your shoulders and your upper back will be sitting more properly. I'm not saying you have bad posture.
I suddenly need to have the need to sit up better.
It will make an immediate difference.
Okay,
This
that's great.
You can take it with you. You put it in your bag, right? And it's like a form of stress relief as well.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite helpful.
Absolutely. And so you can find those bands at most
Find them on Amazon.
Sports stores too.
Yeah, you can probably still find them on Amazon. Fitness equipment worldwide is sold out. It's insane. People
Yeah.
regularly, they like want to buy all the equipment in here.
Oh, really?
Not going anywhere. So, yeah.
Right. Well, thank you so much, Dan. I really appreciate you taking the time to speak with me today. Where can people find you, get in contact with you if they're interested in seeking out some personal training?
Just through my website, so www.levelupfitness.ca. All the contact information is there. I don't even know my social media handles, so I would just go to the website. There's a contact form there. You can email us or call us. There are definitely ways to stay active in the house. And dress warm, go outside. You can do stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Get creative with it.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.